If you want to manage your money like the top 1% do, then this is the video for you. I'm going to talk through the 60-20-20 rule that can help you grow your wealth at any income level. So whether you're earning 30,000 or 300,000, this simple approach can help you manage your money like a financial expert. If you're new to this channel, I'm Matt. I've been a finance consultant for over 10 years. I've worked as a director for one of the top consulting companies in London. I now run my own company, and on this channel I talk all things personal finance. So let's get going and start with the 60 out of the 60-20-20 rule. So this part of the rule is that up to 60% of your income should be covering need-related costs. These are fixed costs like rent or mortgage, utility bills, day-to-day food and transportation, and any other costs that make up your essential living expenses. This is what we call your needs. There is some financial guidance that says this should not exceed 50% of your income, but I think this is somewhat out of date with today's economic climate, the recent high inflation and the increases in costs of living that we've seen. If your fixed costs are taking up more than 60% of your income, then you should look at what you're spending on and how you could reduce those costs. For example, could you negotiate a lower rent deal or use a comparison website to switch to a lower cost provider for things like your utility bills, the internet and insurance? It can be tricky to keep expenses from ballooning, particularly in high cost locations. Your spending will typically keep growing as your income goes up, unless you consciously manage it and set a ceiling. So this 60% limit or cap helps to keep your expenses in check. The next part of the rule is to save and invest 20% of your income. The first step is to make sure that you have a financial emergency fund. If you haven't already done this, then start by saving the equivalent of 1 month of your living expenses, and then gradually try to increase this to cover 3 to 6 months of your living costs in case you can't work for an extended period of time. You might have heard this advice before and think you prefer to just invest the money, but say if you were sick and not able to work, or your car broke down, or your boiler broke. These can be large expenses, and having some money saved, which you don't touch unless it's a financial emergency, can be really important. By doing this, it will make you feel more secure and give you more confidence with the next step, which is about maximizing your investments and pension contributions. In the US, you have 401k match, and in the UK, you have similar pension benefits where your employer will match what money you put into your pension. So for every $1 or £1 that you pay into your work pension, your employer will add an additional $1 or £1 on top. This is typically up to a certain percentage threshold of your salary. So for example, if your employer had a 5% match scheme and you were earning a gross pre-tax salary of £4,000 per month, that would mean that you would pay £200 per month into your pension, and your employer would add an additional £200, making it £400 per month in total being added to your pension. It basically doubles your investment, which not many investments can do, and your contributions are pre-tax and your money grows tax-free until you withdraw it. Now, how much to pay into your pension depends on a number of variables. For example, what tax rules are in your country, the lifestyle that you want to have in retirement, and how many working years that you have left. It's best to speak to a financial advisor who can help you put in place a retirement plan. As well as contributing to your pension, take advantage of tax-efficient investment accounts so your money gets to work for you. The earlier you can invest, the better, because the rule of compound interest is so powerful with time. For example, based on the average annual rate of return of around 8% that we've seen on the S&P 500, if George, who is 40, invested $10,000 for 20 years until he was 60, he would have over $46,000. However, if Elizabeth, who is 30, invested the same amount of money, $10,000, but for 30 years until she was 60, she would have over $100,000, over double the amount of money for the same investment amount. That's the benefit of time and compound interest. If you haven't already done so, start by opening a tax-free investment account such as a Roth IRA if you're in the US, or a stocks and shares ISA if you're in the UK. The money you put into the account should have already been taxed, but the investments can grow in the account tax-free. There are a variety of different investments that can be made, from purchasing individual company shares to index funds to real estate funds, and there's no right or wrong. The main thing is that you should always have a base level of understanding before making any investments. So in summary, the target is to put 20% of your income towards your pension and investments. I understand being able to save this amount of money is not always an easy thing to do, particularly with the recent increased cost of living. And this might be a target that you build towards as your income goes up over time. The final 20% of your income is for your wants and to use your money for enjoyment and fulfillment. Your wants could be restaurants, expensive takeaways, activities with family, golf, spa, weekends away, whatever it is on top of your monthly fixed living expenses. This is the best part. Go and enjoy and treat yourself with your family and friends. You've earned it as you've taken care of your finances. This should be the last place your money should go. Focus first on your needs, then your savings and investments, and finally your wants. There's a great book called Die with Zero by Bill Perkins, which talks about getting all you can from your money and your life. The ultimate goal isn't to come to the end of your life with a massive bank account, but it's to use your money to get enjoyment and fulfillment from your life. You're much more likely to stick to your financial goals if you're motivated and energized and you can see the rewards from your wealth growing. So these are my top tips for managing your money like the 1% do. Remember the 60-20-20 rule. If you found the video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next one.